Society often views the person standing outside the crowd as a puzzle to be solved or a deficit to be corrected. We assume that a lack of social ties indicates a failure to connect, overlooking the possibility that it reflects a high degree of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Modern standards for psychological health often rely on the metric of performative socialization. We are taught that belonging is the goal, prioritizing the quantity of likes and followers over the quality of our internal state. People who walk alone frequently do so because they have developed a low tolerance for surface-level interaction. Their isolation is a byproduct of seeking depth that a crowd rarely provides. This shift away from the group is driven by 5 specific character traits. The final trait explains why these individuals frequently outgrow their surroundings, making long-term connections difficult to maintain. To understand this lifestyle, we have to look past what they are missing and examine the specific psychological mechanics they use to navigate the world. These individuals operate with an identity built on internal observation. Without a group to mirror their behavior, they must define their own values and standards from scratch. This creates a state of internal validation. Their sense of self-worth is rooted in personal alignment, meaning they only engage with others when that connection matches their own integrity. Because their ego doesn't depend on group approval, they refuse to adjust their personality to win social acceptance. They prioritize authenticity, choosing to be whole while alone rather than presenting a partial version of themselves to fit in. Solitude functions as an active workshop for self-development. They view time alone as a necessary resource for growth, using it to process information and build their internal world. This preference for depth leads them to value the habit of journaling, taking long walks, and quiet observation. They find faking small talk exhausting because it offers no substance to their internal process. Since isolation actively replenishes their mental energy, they are naturally resilient to social peer pressure. The fear of missing out loses its leverage when the individual finds their own company sufficient. This internal focus leads to a rigorous system for managing social environments. They are highly selective about who they allow into their personal space. This diagram represents their social boundaries. A severed connection is a successful filtration of drama and negative energy, keeping their central core intact. They prioritize personal peace above all else, willing to disappoint others to avoid betraying their own standards. This protective stance is informed by a sensitivity to social subtext. Because they spend so much time in self-reflection, they become highly attuned to shifts in tone, fake expressions, and unsaid resentments that others might ignore. This perception functions as a refined emotional radar. It allows them to detect when an environment is toxic or when someone is being insincere, prompting them to withdraw and protect their energy. A non-existent social circle is often the result of this uncompromising filtration system. It is a deliberate choice to remain solo until a relationship meets their requirement for transparency and peace. The most significant reason these individuals remain alone is the speed of their developmental shifts. They are often moving through emotional healing and identity changes at a rate that outpaces those around them. This chart illustrates the gap between personal standards and the old environment. While the group remains at a static baseline, the individual's trajectory curves sharply upward. This shift involved adopting new standards, eventually surpassing the capacity of their old circle. Outgrowing a crowd is a common outcome of significant personal transformation. They accept being alone as the price of becoming who they really are. These traits combine to create a person who is difficult to manipulate. Because they do not crave external validation, social leverage has no power over them. This leads to self-sovereignty. The individual maintains total ownership over their time and their presence, granting access only to those who honor it. This lifestyle does not mean they will be alone forever. It simply means they refuse to waste their energy on connections that require them to shrink or perform. Choosing solitude is a high-level refusal to occupy spaces where your presence is not valued. It is the ultimate act of honoring oneself.